And good morning, everyone. Gyro here. And this video is a disc golf video. There will be a separate video about season 2, and I may do that in conjunction with the SRI postmortem. Don't know yet. But anyway, did the church thing early in the morning. Pastor Laurent Livingston, what a saint of the faith. Just what a wonderful man of God. His message today about what true giving of the Lord is was very poignant and bang on target. So I am darned with coffee. And let's get started with the disc golf. So, looking at some data, doing some analysis, what I've come to realize is two very important things. One is dome is very important to me in the faster disc, unless there's a specific reason. Secondly, the Fission Trail goes very far, and therefore, right at this moment, I'm not going to throw any 11 speeds. It's going to be the trail and below. With the new Fission releases from MVP, because it has a lot of dome, that has really captured my attention again. When I was throwing MVP, so for the OGs of the OGs out there, you remember the Blue for 40 tour, where I threw an all blue or as close to bag of MVP discs. They were all very flat. And now that I'm 50, I actually need a little bit of dome because I need a little bit of carry. If I have that, I am getting some reasonable distance. So this is the latest iteration of the bag. Let's get started. So putting putters, still the good boys. I'm really happy with these. These have good glide, nice stability. They're not overstable. They're not understable. They just hold. That's what I'm after. So in the understable slot, we have the XT AVR. So 133 grams still. And I'm really liking how quick this turns over. It's really a trick shot these days. But I really like the XT plastic. Still have the Nova. The Nova is kind of an S curve. So if I hold it this way, it will stable out. If I throw this hard, it does drift to the right now. 146 grams. I need to find what I consider max weight, which is 157 to 160 grams. Hashtag 150 life. And if that happens, then the heavier Nova will be straight. This will be my drift. And with the new philosophy of carrying 5 discs per class, because I have no distance drivers. Straight stable, the Envy. Now this is 163 grams inked. When I weighed this, it's already down to 162. It is straight stable. But if you don't throw this, it dumps. If you throw it, it really takes off. So still learning how to integrate this, but it's too good of a disc not to, I feel. It's in Fission plastic. I'm a big fan of Fission plastic these days because I can get it in the lighter weight. Now, in the overstable slot, we have a Rhino, we have a Peg, but I've been testing a Slammer. I had a Classic Soft. This is Classic. I'm still figuring out if this is the right disc. I'm tempted to put one of my broken zones again. I have a lot of zones. The issue is, okay, this Slammer is 175 grams. The zones I have are 10 grams lighter. And I'm okay with that. They do make 160 gram jawbreakers. I have seen it. So this slot to be determined. I like the idea of the Slammer. The issue is, does it work with the other molds that I have in the putt approach category. All right, let's talk mids. So we've gone to 5 mids because no distance drivers. I wanted a shot that's filled. So least stable, still Lorello, 149 grams. The thing just turns right. It's a good thumber because it's so understable that the way it pans is very slow for me. Then my hyzer flip or drag shot is the Mako's back in. But the new addition is the M4. If you were to tell me, Dwayne, name your 3 favorite Prodigy molds, they all end in 4. The M, the H, and the D. For me, when I get hold of a D, it goes a very long way because most of them have a very nice dome. This is very straight. It is slightly, for me, on the heavier side, 164 grams, but I can get them lighter. I do have a couple of lighter ones. But what I want for this is to go straight and maybe fall forward. And I'm okay with a couple of extra grams. So, in straight stable slot, of course, the compass. Stamped at 161 grams, weighing right at 160 right now. Starting to get a little bit of wear. Nice and flat. Another nice and flat, this is the Malta, 158.5 grams. Nice and stable. So I'm really happy with the mid-range lineup because I have all my shots covered. Fairway drivers. Still chucking the Leopard around. I have Vortexes. I have Diamonds. This is staying in because I want something that turns a little quicker. And what I want in this slot is it to become the longer Rollo. I don't mind if this stables out at end of flight, but I want to really work this in. It has a very nice heartbeat to that. I now have added 148 gram TL. So for those of the channel, you know I love the Hawkeye, still do. But this has a little bit of a heartbeat. And it's in Champion. And I want to see how it compares to the River. If you look, this River just has a moderate dome. This, I know what it does. It just stays up, stays up. What I want to see from the TL is because it's so light, what its shot pattern is. What I'm hoping is, because of this dome, is that it drifts and then stables out. This River just holds the angle. So, 2 different shot shapes. Still have the Explorer. This has become my favorite fairway driver. It just feels so good in my hand. Still have T-Birds. The T-Birds I have is slightly less dome. So for open, it may be an Explorer. For tighter courses, it may be the T-Bird just because of the carry. But I've put back in the Bonsai. This is 1 tick more stable than the Explorer. It's an 8403 disc. This is in Proline. 157 grams. DGA is manufactured by Discraft. So I know the plastic's good. And if you note, it has a very slight dome. It's not flat. And I actually am a big fan of DGA. I like Vortex, the Pipeline, starting to like the Rogue. So definitely like DGA. And then lastly, control driver slot. So, least stable. Still have the OG Hatchet. If you know, you know. I've now put a second jade in the bag. This is glitter, this is Opto, and this is gold. So this one we need to beat in a little bit because I want this, if you notice, a little bit of dome. Matter of fact, let me see if this thing has a heartbeat. Let's find out if this has a heartbeat. Not much, just a little. But it's gold line, so I want this to beat in a little quicker than the Opto. so I can get this thing to drift. Now, this Glitter Opto, just a little bit. Beautiful mold. It's got the elephant. It's shiny. It's 156 grams. I'm expecting this to become a workhorse. Still have the Saint in the bag. And then the other new addition for my stable, instead of a Thunderbird or a Vulture, which I really like both of those discs, I have a Getaway. Double stamp. And if you notice, it's got dome. And this is 157 grams. And this is going to be my overstable control driver. Kind of like what the Surge SS was in the distance driver slot is what this Getaway is going to be in the control driver slot. So that leads to a philosophy, and that is molds are going to start going out. So I have, for example, a few MVP molds. I'm going to grab one as I continue to narrate. And I really want to like MVP again. I do. I just want to. But the issue is that I need some dome. And I've actually pulled, we'll pull these two. We'll pull these two. And you'll see why I've ditched everything to a 7-speed. The fastest one I'm keeping in earnest is the Rhythm. The Rhythm is such a good fairway driver. Will complement the Crave that I have very well. So this is a Virus. So it's a 9.5 negative 3.5 1. So think Roadrunner numbers. And I have a Wave. This is 147 grams. This is marketed as slightly understable. 11.5 negative 2.5 2. So let me show you how board flat that is. So because this is board flat for me, even though it's 156 grams, what this disc is doing is it accelerates, it starts turning, but then it stables out, and I need this to keep turning. Well, it doesn't have a lot of dome, so the disc doesn't have a lot of carry, and it's dropping out on me. The distance is between this and, let's say, a Roadrunner has a nice moderate dome, is 20 to 25 feet difference to the Roadrunner. And then to the Hatchet, this is 40 short. So that's why in Neutron, especially heavy proton, this doesn't work for me. Now let's talk about the Wave. So there's the Wave. And this only has a shoulder. There's no heartbeat. This is actually flat. If this Wave had the dome of the Fission Trail, I'm going to grab that. If it had the dome of the Fission Trail, I think it would be a very good complement. So here's a Fission Trail, 148 grams, so basically identical weight. Look how much dome that has. That's dome. I threw this one time, hole 8, Springfield. It is, I want to say it's 580. And because of the way to win and all that is, it plays slightly longer. I would say 610. Just because you go down, but then you go up, and you have trees that block the wind, so the air is kind of I had never thrown to the bottom of the hill before. I was always a little short. This got to the bottom of the hill and then a few feet back up. This thing goes a long way, and it flew dead straight. and it just carried and carried and carried and carried. So, because of that, matter of fact, I'm going to put that in the bag. Just because if I need a max distance shot, there you go. So because of that, these very flat molds don't work for me. Now, I have another example of that, and that's the Orbital. So the Orbital is MVP's version of a Mamba. Very similar numbers. The Mamba is -5. The Orbital is -4.5. Everything else is identical. This is 159 gram, and that's board flat. Now, my Mambas are slightly more, but not too much. They're not, in G-Star, they have a nice little, and then it's kind of flat. It's not like a dome like a Roadrunner. And I have to have dome. I need dome for the disc to carry. This feels really good, but the issue is because it doesn't have dome, it's harder to spin up. Air doesn't get under the disc to carry, and it just goes, eh. So because of that, I now know with MVP specifically, because of the Fission Trail, I took a gamble, $27 gamble. It was well worth it. I need to buy another, frankly, half a dozen of those because those are going to be my bombers. Forgot who the gentleman's name is, but I played a tournament in Owensboro pre-surgeries. This was 2024. He was throwing the trail as far or further as his Vanish, which that told me a lot of things because he was similar age to me. So, yeah, I'm just in that season where more and more discs are going to go away. Over here off screen, I've started having a pile, and that pile's going to grow. We're going to send that off to Trash Panda and make new discs for people. Really like Jesse's work, big fan. So that's the bag state. Tournament-wise, so right this moment, my next tournament is likely White House. I'm going to play with this configuration. I'm not going to play with anything else unless they're a duplicate. But that's at the end of June. So if there's a tournament before that, we'll let you know. But with the cost of everything, with everything going on here at the house, yeah, we'll play by ear. But anyway, thanks for watching this, especially my iRacing crowd. Stay tuned. We'll do another video on iRacing. But as always, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. God bless. We'll see you next time.